guys, welcome back. We are the Holy Wackos. It's nice to see you guys again.
I'm Zachary, and this is...
I'm Mariah.
And we are doing the episode about testimonies.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing today, Mariah?
I'm doing okay. Pretty well, other than the mishap with my car. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, other than the mishap with your car.
Yay! I love it.
So the mishap with your car.
Okay, so first of all, I own a Ford. Enough said. If you know, you know. No. So the mishap with my car was my battery died. I have a 2013 Ford Escape. Pray for me. Because the battery, you have to take off 4 different parts.
Escape.
I do be escaping. So,
the Ford Escape. Go on.
Run away from all my problems.
Run away.
And then pray about it.
Don't you mean drive away?
No, I have to run because I own a Ford. It breaks down so much. Ford literally stands for found on roadside dead.
We will never get sponsored by Ford a day in our lives.
Can you imagine? They're like, hey, we wanna sponsor you guys. And I'm just like, is this sponsorship gonna break down? I'm like, something ain't right here. So, anyways, 2013 Ford Escape, and so I replaced the battery.
13.
What did I say?
14? Did you?
Probably.
Okay.
Anyways.
You don't know how to count, as we covered first episode. Please no. Please no.
Okay.
Bo was gonna come in here and start barking.
Cause havoc.
I love you, Bo. You can come in later.
Dude.
Oh.
So, anyways, I replaced the battery. Little did I know that when you replace the battery in this specific car, that a lot of the times the wiper motors need to be reset, which makes no logical sense to me. What do you...
I just realized I don't have the laptop plugged in. You continue your story.
We're gonna have a lot of editing to do, aren't we? Okay, so I reset the wipers, and then they started, crashing together, whatever. So we had to unplug the fuse, wait the whole 5 minutes, and then we figured out, wait, no, they have to be lined up a certain way. 2 hours later, here we are, finally filming our podcast.
It took a total of 2 hours and 30 minutes for us to start this podcast.
Yeah, it was painstaking, to say the least.
Well, yeah. And I came in clutch with the measurement video.
You definitely didn't come in clutch the flashlight, though.
No, the flashlights were horrible. Flashlights.
I can make so many jokes, too. Be like, didn't your dad ever teach you how to hold a flashlight? And you're like...
You could have. Thank you for not.
Love you.
I wish you did, because that would have been funny. I like laughing a lot. Haha. But my day was actually really great, because I'm training for a 4-mile run.
Oh, what?
Yes, I made a bet with my brother.
Oh.
At the Easter table. It was at Easter at the table, and I'm not super close with my brother, and I want to so badly. So that looked at as an opportunity of, hey, I can talk to him a lot more, and we can have this thing to have a greater bond. Mm-hmm. So it's a $100 bet. If I can do a 4-mile run in 40 minutes, then I get $100. But if I don't, I give him $100. And it's for Thanksgiving. It's around Thanksgiving time. So I have plenty of time.
Yeah, you got some time to train.
And today, I did my first 19-minute mile. And last week, I did 21 minutes. So I shaved it off by 2 minutes.
Progress. Okay, I love that for you.
So I ran 7 minutes, then 2 minutes, 3 times in a row. It was exhausting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're doing that, though, because...
Me too. I'm trying to get into shape, and, the current medication, I've been taking recently, has a side effect of weight gain as I'm starting to go to the gym.
So it's
And then I step on the scale, and I was, 255. I'm 265. And I'm just you got to be kidding me. And it's just well... You can't really do anything about that. I'm like, dang it!
Yeah, I totally understand. There's so many medicines out there, too, that make you gain weight. And it does, it irritates me, too, because if you're physically unable to go to the gym, you just pack on weight?
Unless if you want to eat less.
Well, yeah, I mean, but then
But then
starving your body of nutrients.
Yeah.
Like.
And then if you want to have those nutrients but not have all calories, you're maxing out on nutrients while not having flavorful food.
Yeah, there's
and it also can be really expensive. Like, really expensive.
I mean, stuff is so expensive anyways, too.
Yeah.
So.
But, anyways, so disclaimer for today's video. We will be talking about some very not family-friendly subjects, but we will be keeping it family-friendly.
Yes.
So just a disclaimer, if you are sensitive to certain talk about rough times, then this episode may not be for you, or it may be for you. Maybe you need to hear it, maybe not. But we're talking about our testimonies and how we went through really dark times and how we found God and His light in our life.
Yeah. Yeah, and if any of you don't feel comfortable listening or even watching the podcast, we totally understand. Our feelings are not going to be hurt. We still love and appreciate every one of you. We understand that a lot of this is not easy for people to talk about or hear, so there will be a chance of us both getting kind of choked up about it. Especially me, I'm very, very emotional, especially when it comes to talking about my relationship with God and my journey, because it has not been easy.
I agree, and I've never talked about my testimony that is current, because it just kind of reached a point to where all of the storm calmed this morning. So this is really fresh.
This is really new.
This is a unused tea bag.
Oh,
fresh
man.
tea right here.
Oh,
yeah.
It still smells good though.
It does. I'm using a circle bottle now, and I got a sweet tea pod.
Oh, okay.
And man, I love their pods. And there's like $1 like clearance hibiscus pods. They're so good.
Don't threaten me with a good deal. I can't pass down a good deal.
I love good
That's
deals.
why I'm bankrupt.
All right.
The irony that good deals caused me to be bankrupt. Listen,
Amen.
I have $12,000 in credit card debt. Do you not know how to hand hug?
I know how to hand hug.
Hand hug.
I just expected a...
Oh. What a disappointment. No. Anyways.
Rejected handshake.
Oh, you'll be fine.
All right. Do you want to go first with your testimony, or would you like me to go first?
Which would you rather do? I'm comfortable with either or.
I'm comfortable with either. Want rock, paper, scissors?
No, because everybody rock, paper, scissors is different than me, and I feel very judged. You got a coin we can flip?
Yeah. I have a Nintendo Switch cartridge.
That works. Okay, you top or bottom?
I'll go with bottom.
Okay, I'll top.
Top.
Okay. So I'm going to tell my most recent one. I'm not going to tell like the one when I was 17.
I'm going to tell my whole entire life.
Well, tune in next week for part 2. Cut.
Okay.
Okay. Do you get tissues?
Oh, we don't have tissues.
It'll be fine. I gave my testimony on Wednesday at church last week without tissues, and I should have went up there with them, because I started crying like halfway through, and everyone was just staring at me, and I was like, anyways, guys, that's all for me. I love you. Goodbye. So last fall, I went through one of the hardest breakups I've ever been through in my entire life. And it really like rocked me to the core. And I had a moment where I was driving for work, and I stopped after I dropped off a delivery, and I was listening to, I don't know what song it was some song on the radio, and I paused the radio, and I just broke down, and I started crying and sobbing, and I just remember sitting there, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore by myself, and yeah, and then I just kind of reached out, and I told God, I was like, God, listen, I know I haven't been the best, but I'm really going through it right now. And I was like, I want this person to want me so badly, and they don't. They threw me out, for lack of better words, like a piece of trash. and I'm just completely lost, and I don't know where to go from here. And I trust you because I know you love me, and I don't know who else I could talk to about it, because I feel like even my closest friends are sick and tired of talking to me about it, even though they say they're not. And I love him. I love this guy so much. So yeah, that's where I really started those, because I learned that even at rock bottom, God's there, because God is the rock at rock bottom. And fast forward now, and it's been 8 months, and it's been crazy. I went to my first revival at the church I go to. And I have an amazing church family that I love so dearly. And yeah, they are the family I never had, so I love them a lot. The main thing I struggled with was I was very conflicted a lot with, I don't know if I want to be around any longer. And even when I was praying all the time and everything like that, I would find myself oftentimes at night praying just for God to make it all stop and take it away. And I was tired, and I had a really bad night in February when it was supposed to be our anniversary. And I had already found out he had moved on to somebody new 2 months after we broke up.
2 months.
Yeah. So that was really hard. And then going through Valentine's Day alone for the first time in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, this is the hardest breakup I've ever been through. I was so in love with this person. And I loved him so unconditionally. I was willing to look past all his anger that he had, and everything like that, all the emotional, just turmoil he was dealing with, and everything like that. And I mean, I still have so much love for this person and no hatred for him. And if anything, I do kind of feel bad for him. Just because he is such a good person to his core, and I know he is. He just needs to believe in himself and have more self-confidence. But, yeah, now it is May, and I have a crush on somebody else. And he's really sweet. But God, I believe that God would not have allowed me to just suffer for no reason. There was purpose in that pain, and I found it all through Christ, and I love him so much. Talking about my love for God, I love him so much. And if it wasn't for him, I think that I would be in a much better place and not experience the amount of peace I have experienced and just overall comfort. He's given me reasons to wake up every morning and to go through each day and find new ways to serve him. And I am so incredibly grateful for everything he's done for me and everything he continues to do for me. And he made it where I have a really cool friend named Zach that I have this casual podcast with.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, though, because, we're a little bit wacky. But we're also
we're like two wackos.
It's like we love Jesus, and we're kind of like holy wackos, though.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That would be a good podcast name.
It would be.
Yeah, that would go on good on a t-shirt, on a pin, on a hat.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Subscribe and
like
download.
And comment. Do all the things.
Oh, no matter if you're on Spotify, Apple, Samsung,
There's
YouTube.
12 different streaming services we're on now.
No, 20.
So y'all should definitely subscribe.
Yeah. I'm trying to get more. I'm not on Alexa. Wait, no, we're on Alexa. We're not on TuneIn. I remember that one because that one was being stubborn. Anyways.
Who's Alexa?
Who's Alexa?
Boy. No, that's kind of it for my testimony, though. It's not long-winded or anything like that. It was still really hard. Because, I never got that closure.
Yeah.
And then I slowly learned that the disrespect I felt after the initial breakup was the closure I needed.
Yeah.
And the overall just how he can't stand to even be in the same room as me. He won't even look at me. He blocked me on everything. And I know that is God just kind of closing the door on that and be like, you know, and giving me like a spiritual hug and just being like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're fine. I'm right here. I am all you need. And I'm just like, yes. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I
would need tissues for this one too, huh?
Yeah. My testimony is dating back to basically when I was a kid. In 2011, my parents got divorced. Well, first, they told me what a divorce was and that they were getting one while I was in an apartment that was going to be my dad's. And that tore me up. And ever since then, I've been going back and forth between houses. And so I kind of like dealt with having two homes, and which is nice to have like two extra parental figures because they both got remarried. But that's just kind of a baseline, just saying that for my testimony, because I'm always going back and forth, and that unfortunately has contributed some stress just because I have to time things around, because I deeply want to spend time and enjoy my time with my parents. And it hurts whenever I'm doing all these things, but I'm lacking in time with like my mom. And then it's just like, oh, this plan just popped out of nowhere. I need to do this. And then all of a sudden, we're both upset because we're not spending time. And I'm just like, dang it, I should not like hung out with such and such. I should have been there. But anyways, that's whenever I got my car. And then in 2020, I ended up getting a leg injury by falling onto a rock in a river. And then it was not cleaned out when it was stitched up. And then I had to have surgery, and I had to relearn how to walk. And during that moment, when I was like before the surgery and everything, before I getting stitched up, I was there with God. I clinged on to Waymaker, the Michael W. Smith radio version. And I just sang it right there in the ER constantly. And I didn't feel pain. I felt happy. And I had strong faith. And then I experienced the worst pain of my life when I was back in the hospital again with that injury. And it was bad. I screamed out in pain. I was yelling out in pain. It was so bad that my whole body was like being lifted up because I was so tensed up. Because it was blistering pain. I know a lot of people might not fully understand the pain scale. 10 is you're dead. Or like you're almost there.
Yeah, no, 10 is like you are uncontrollably sobbing because
it's like you're being mauled by a bear.
Yeah.
9 is like you're unconscious.
Yeah.
And then 8 is right below that.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was between a 7 and an 8 because it was so bad. And what I did was I prayed to God. God, like I said a lot. I don't know what I said, but it just all came out like genuinely from my soul. And I said, take away my pain, please. And then just like that, it was all gone.
Yeah.
And that leads into this year, which is where most of my testimony comes from. Because 2 years ago in 2022 is when I became very, very extroverted. And I gained a lot of friends. And then all of a sudden, some would move, like one moved away, like I stopped talking to a lot of them, but I'm so close with them still. And then came this year. In January 9th is when everything went downhill. I got up that morning, went to the dentist, got a haircut, hung out with two of my best friends, then got home and started to feel sick. That whole week I was deeply sick. Not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. And I questioned God. I questioned God's love. I questioned God's vision. I questioned God's existence, and I questioned my own. And then the week after, I was slowly recovering, and we ended up getting hit by a massive snow and ice. And down here in Tennessee, we don't typically have like trucks to shovel off ice and snow.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. So we were kind of trapped for about a week. And that's when my college was starting up. And I was seeking for relief in college, but because of delays, the next week, we were slowly starting up, and it was just like, okay, we have to immediately hop into this, we're behind. And that same week, my grandma passed away. And I remember the Saturday before that week, being the second week, I was back at work one time on a Saturday, and one of my sisters from another mother picked me up and brought me to the assistant care living, to which she was unresponsive. She couldn't open her eyes. And for that whole week of her slowly passing away, family coming down, funeral services, and everything, just like on the day she passed away, I'm getting ready for work, trying to get school done with the stress of school and just existence still, and still struggling with God. I go there because I was sitting down and my cousin Annie kept calling me, and my dad saying, hey, she's not doing well. And we're just like, hey, it's okay. It'll be okay. And then we got the call. And we both rushed down there. And I couldn't cry. I teared up, but all I did was comfort others. I comforted my cousin, my uncle, my dad, my stepmom. It's a problem to where I can't cry. It was. And then time moved on. At the funeral, I finally cried when I saw one of my best friends, Connor, come up to me, who came to the funeral and just hugged me. And that hug broke me for a second, because I just, yeah.
It's almost like you were finally able to just kind of let go of all the constant need to be strong and just feel safe for a minute.
Yeah, I didn't let go of everything. It's just the strength in me, I figure, because I just want to be strong and help others.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely a relief moment, because I had like some of my other friends and my cousin Brendan there, but just like I've been talking to Connor about it, like we went to eat and everything, and I'm like, hey dude, if you want to show up, you can, but you don't have to. And just the fact that he showed up when he definitely didn't need to. He has all these other things going on in his life, but he showed up for me.
Because you matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things went forward, obviously, because, you know, we're here today.
Yeah.
And
are we, though?
Are we? But I just kept going, and I started to feel a little bit better. And then upcoming was spring break, but algebra was kicking my butt, because if you ever take a course of any kind with my Pearson, please don't take it. It's severely outdated and not secure. It got so stressful to where I fell into a not good place. I know a lot of people describe, like, the best they can, like, in this similar situation, a very dark place, but that's just how it is. And it's hard to envision that sometimes until you go through it.
Yeah. You get that perspective gained.
Yeah. And I doubted God, which is really dangerous. And I doubted the point of existing. Not just life, not just meaning, but just like, okay, God offers eternity, but what's the point? What's the purpose? And it's just like, hey, dude, one thing I learned now that I'm out of this is don't worry about tomorrow, because you do not know what the road tomorrow will hold. Mm-hmm. So why shouldn't that apply to eternity? Because you're not going to know. And you will find a lot of peace with God and actually following what he says. But in the time, I ended up laying down for weeks. And for the whole week, I just fell down into a state of mind to where I didn't want to exist. And that's when I stopped uploading on YouTube. I stopped streaming. I found no joy.
Yeah.
The only joy I had was when I was with my friends. And when I was with three of my closest friends who are like sisters and a brother to me. I had a particular idea. And I told them what it was. I told them that I had that idea, not what it was. But so I couldn't go through with any dumb idea. And moving forward, I had up and down days. And eventually, I got worse than I ever was and laid down and slept for way too long many days. To which I went to a hospital for a week, about 3 weeks ago. And that was when I didn't go to church because I told one of my friends I was sick, because I was mentally and spiritually. And then I went to the hospital that following Tuesday, to which I was gone for 6 days because it got bad. Because going through loss of a family member. Oh yeah, I also withdrawed from school because it became too much, and that's whenever I started going into depression, which was right at spring break. But going back to the present 3 weeks ago, or something like that, I just wanted to not exist and questioned it, and it was bad. I didn't want to exist. I was questioning love. I was questioning God. I was questioning so many different things. I was questioning my passions. I was questioning what to do with my life. I was not good. And no matter how many times people told me, like, how awesome I was or how much I've helped them, I could not help myself to where I wanted to unalive. And then I ended up going to that hospital. And I met some amazing people there. And if you're one of those people, thank you, first of all. Even if I didn't talk to you a whole lot, you still made a huge impact. But that's where I just sat in the hallway just saying I want out. And then I went up to a staff and I said, hey, I went up to a nurse and said, hey, can I have a Bible? And then I read the book of Matthew in 4 days, and my life was transformed. I went from not wanting to exist to I want to follow this path. I want to love others. I want to love God. Because I already love others no matter what. No matter how bad I got, I never wanted to hurt anybody. I always wanted the best for others. So that's whenever I would talk about it to people, I would say, hey, please don't do anything rash. Please don't be too affected by me. I want the best for you. But I just would not do that for myself.
Yeah.
And it just was so heavy. And I was talking to a nurse. Her name was Michaela. And Michaela, if you're somehow hearing this, I want to say truly thank you, because I never got to say it. Like, I got to say thank you a few times, but I never got to say thank you one final time for how much you impacted me. because I told her everything I was going through and how I just wanted to leave that place because I was not in my right mind. And I just kept talking and talking and talking, and then I came back after that scheduled lunch, and I'm just talking more. And then she goes, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this. Which she is, I'm pretty sure, come to find out. She took a notepad and wrote down 2 verses. I believe the second one was like Ephesians. But the first one was 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. For God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and self-control. And that is the English Standard Version, which is from the Thinking of You Gideon's Bible that I read. And I had a lot of fear. That's what I had. I had fear of time and eternity and existing. And just with everything from my grandma passing away, from school, from all these things, it was almost nothing compared to the thought of existing and not existing. Because it came to a point in my life, if I'm going to exist, there needs to be a point and a purpose. Because if there's no point to existing, there's no point to be alive. That was my thought and my mentality. And then not only did I find a point and a purpose within God, but I found an undescribable spirit from loving God. And then I felt a lot better. After those 4 days, I got done reading Matthew. On the 5th day, I read 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy. And yes, I ended up getting onto a medicine, but to be honest, the medicine didn't help. It was God. Because 1 day of medication typically does not help.
Yeah, it takes a while to get in your system.
Yeah. Which is kind of why I like, because unfortunately I'm still on one just because it's like you have to slowly get off of one if you want to get off of one.
Yeah.
But I mean to get off of it because I'm just like, oh, I need this God. I don't need this chemical thing. But back to it. So, yeah. And then I talked to many people about God. And all of a sudden, in those 6 days, I was transformed from someone who reverted back to being an introvert, didn't want to exist, was scared, fearful. All I had was God to turn to. And then the few people I was able to call, being my mom, my dad, and my brother from another mother, Ethan. Ethan, if you're listening to this, you know that you helped me a lot, but you helped me more than you think. And
hi, Ethan. I don't know you. Sorry.
Definitely want to get him on the podcast one day, but
hi,
he's also in Florida.
Hope you're having fun sweating, buddy.
But it became a wonderful thing. Because after those days, all of a sudden, like, it was like into the third day of reading Matthew, like, I was just feeling so much better. And I was talking about God. I was bringing my Bible with me everywhere because it's a closed-in, it's a hospital. And eventually people started asking me questions. And then a dude was like talking about the book of Job, and he thought that it ended with Job being homeless. And I'm like, whoa, no. Job became twice as wealthy.
Yeah, that to me is kind of like the biggest sign that God was using you for His purpose.
Yeah.
Because you went through like your own pits of despair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to say it lightly, and then He flipped the whole script or scripture,
Whoa!
and made it so where you could actively be how do I put this? You could serve him and minister to other people, even though you were going through all this pit of despair, because you were on the up and up.
And everyone there's got to see my transformation.
And I love that. You went there, really, when you see no other way, right?
Yeah.
And you came out, ministered to other people, became stronger, and are so spiritually better off for it. And I can tell, too. I can tell, dude.
Because before I went to there, I also went to the revival nights you went to.
I remember.
And whenever I told one of my best friends, a sister from another mother, and your best friend,
do not use that lightly. Okay, this girl is my best friend, and I will fight for her until the very end. I love this girl.
Love you, Kiana.
I love you so much. She's my little bird. Have you not seen that meme? It's like, who helped you and you thought like there was nobody else around? It's like a bird picking up a human. That's her. She's my bird. I love her. I called her the closet, and I'm not going to say why.
Okay.
She's my closet. I love that bird.
Okay. But, like, it was hard, and I still want it out, don't get me wrong, but I highly encourage, like, if you're going through a hard time that I was going through, and you just don't know about existing, I recommend going to professional help, even if it is a hospital, because they will help you out a lot. And read the Bible. Most important thing. I recommend to read Matthew. I recommend to read, like, all the Gospels, like, all of Timothy, 1st and 2nd, because that's what helped me. I don't know if it'll help you like it did me, but it will definitely help.
Yeah.
And because at those revival nights, that's when things kind of turned around, and I started going to the church that we both go to now. And then I fell into that pit, and then while I was in that hospital, I ended up talking to like 3 different people, which it was awesome because it was 4 of us at a table on Sunday talking about God for over an hour. Just talking about God, the AA book, which is like for alcoholics and stuff like that, like getting on the right track. And it's like really heavily with God. And it was awesome. And then there'd be new people coming in, and I would talk to like whoever about God. Whoever would ask me a question. Because all you gotta do is ask. And I will answer. Unless if I don't. But, you know. But I just always grew up with God. But then I found God in a very dark place while I was in a hospital. And ever since I got out, my life has been forever changed. I still have my best friends, my brothers and my sisters. I have closer new friends like Mariah, because you've become one of my really close friends.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. And then Ashton, which use that term lightly. Yeah.
He knows what he did. You know what you did. We all know.
You almost said Kiana.
Kiana knows what you did. We all know what you did. The whole church knows what you did, bud. Oh my goodness.
What did he do?
What didn't he do, man?
Oh, dang. But anyways, that's my testimony. Yeah. So, still have my leg. Still got Jesus.
That's a shame you got your leg, man.
It would have been cool having a bionic leg. I have thought about that.
You can take it off and just go whack.
It would have been easier to run that 4 mile.
Jesus! You need Jesus.
But, yeah. So.
Wait. Imagine running the 4 miles, right? Take your leg off and doing a victory dance with it. That would be so funny. You're just like.
Just hang up on somebody?
Yeah, that was Ashton. I told y'all, use that term lightly.
Lightly.
Listen, alright? Lightly. So, it is what it is, though, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Was what it was. Now it's God.
Yeah. I just recommend read the Bible, even if it's ESV, KJV, like NIV.
I don't know who these people are he's referring to, but let me tell you something. God is great. God is
good.
And if you're ever questioning if you should, stick around or not, you're never going to get over the mountain unless you start climbing.
And if you're thinking like, no, I don't want to listen, then it comes to a point where you might as well try something first before you do something you cannot reverse. You know what?
And I heard this thing a long time ago. It said, you know what? At the end of the day, if you believe in God, and I forgot. I'm getting mixed up. If I believe in God, I have everything to gain. If you don't believe in God, you have everything to lose. So what have you got to lose by believing in God? It's better to believe in God and His plan and trust in Him than to not and find out the hard way. I've been there. And I've had to find out the hard way. And doing it with Him is a lot better than doing it without Him.
Yes.
Then I will continue to stay on that, and I will die on that hill. Because He died for me on the cross.
I agree with that 100%. I would do the same. But seriously, if you're in a bad place, no matter how bad it is, you can reach out to somebody. Oh, I don't want to reach out to this person because what if they say this? Well, if you are in that dark place, then what does that matter?
Yeah.
Because if you think it won't get better, then you might as well try something.
Yep.
Something good. Whether that's talking to your family, talking to friends, or going to seek professional help.
Yep.
Or reading the Bible. Or even just praying. Because I was praying to God for help and wisdom and clarity and power and strength. And it felt like I had nothing. It felt like everything was stripped away from me. But sometimes you have to go back to a blank canvas to make something beautiful.
Yep.
Because it can be really hard to paint a portrait whenever you're covered in dirt.
And that's why they say you're being reborn.
Because it's really hard to make something dirty to something beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can call that thing beautiful. But deep down inside of that is mold, dirt, grime, and it's pain.
Yeah.
But that's our testimony.
Yay, testimonial episode. Woo.
Woo.
That high five was atrocious.
That was
Sarah the elbow? There you go.
Wait, hand hug.
Sorry.
Alright. But, yeah. So next week, we will have a new podcast episode. We will hopefully be having a guest. Being, hopefully, if he's up to it, my dad. To which we can talk to him. And, that'll be fun. But every Tuesday, for sure, we'll be doing this. Sorry about last week. We did not upload.
Yeah, sorry.
It's Mariah's fault.
It kind of is. I'm sorry. Wait, why was I not able to film again?
You were not able to film again because,
Work. I was working.
She was working.
I was working. So
Ashton, stop calling Mariah during the podcast.
I'm not going to say what I want to.
Politely. Use that friend term lightly.
He's like a toddler that can't find the packet of ramen. And he's like, I want something to play with. And I'm like, here, play with this. It's my keys. And he's like, these aren't my keys. And I'm like,
I don't know that feeling.
Okay, I've been around too many kids. Anyways, we love you guys. Tune in next week for more shenanigans with the Wackos.
Well, stay holy and stay wacky.
Yep. Amen.
Yep. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.